All right, so it's January 14th, 2021, and I decided I want to try to learn how to play the Tornado of Souls Soul Solo by Megadeth. Um, and I feel weird because I have these headphones on my head, and I hate talking with headphones on my head, but my wife's upstairs. I can't hear anything that's going on my computer without it. Whatever. So that's what's going on with that. I don't know why I told you that. Don't know why you care. But so I'm like an out of shape marathon runner with guitar playing right now. Like I used to be able to, I may have been able to play this in the past. Right now, I can't play it at all. And one of the things that is going to happen when I eventually put this out is people are going to be like, "Oh, this is fake." The guy can play along. Listen, like I at one point was able to do this, not this solo, but like I know stuff that this skill level is able to do it. Right now, there's no way I could do it. And so what I want to do is I want to document the process of me learning because I've actually never seen that done before, and kind of go into how as long as it's like technique that I know, there's not nothing in there that I don't know, and I don't know, there's like not a solo that I can't learn, and like how kind of how I go through that process. So and it's kind of cool. You're not gonna be able to hear my guitar on this one. I got to figure that out because you can hear me on the microphone, but if I go like this, I doubt you can hear me because the system audio is picking up the Guitar Pro, which you see, and I have a USB in guitar, and that is going through the interface, and I don't think there's a way to do the interface into Camtasia, which I'm guessing that's why you would get like a more expensive program. But hey, that's stuff I don't know. So yeah, I'm just gonna go through. I'm not gonna the whole thing be like teaching, but I'm kind of like you'll see my process for doing this, and I might explain stuff along the way. Now what I'm doing right now is I'm adding the picking in because that's right. I'm adding the picking in. I probably sweep that out. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of like looking at the notes are there, and there might be some other stuff here too. That looks like it would probably, although, if you go down up there, it would be down, down, up, down. So it looks like, I mean, because, you could economy that, or you could economy that, and I just like not, if it sounds better, I might use economy picking. Like that makes more sense for me right now, but I'm not going to do it with that. And then, whatever. So here's like why I'm doing this. I said I was going to explain stuff, but I'm a teacher at heart. Um, I always like to, like, a lot of people think this, excuse me, this stuff is like pointless or whatever, but I always like to put as much notation, or not notation, but um, marks or whatever. I don't know what the words you want to call it, but like things that make more specific what you're doing when you're playing. And sorry, I got to figure out a finger on this. So it's like I'm looking at this one right here, and what I'm trying to figure out is I just want to see if I go like how. Okay, so I'd be 2-4, that 4-4-2. Then, so that makes sense. So I just want to like see what fingers I would use. So I basically go through here, and because of the amount of experience I have, sounds really pompous, but because of the amount of experience I have, I kind of know what fingers to use, like right off the bat. If I'm not sure, I figure it out. And again, this is just like a general plan of what I do. This isn't. I'm not locked into this. And I go through and I do. When I say I'm not locked into this, meaning like if I was saying this isn't even correct. Like if I went and played this, I went and played this, and sorry, I just lost my because I just had a really good idea. If I went and played this and it didn't sound right or didn't work out right, or like it works up to a certain speed, like if it stops working at some point, I might be like, well, maybe I should try different fingers. It just depends, and I have ways of knowing that. Um, but a lot of the things I try to do is like if I know I've done things like this a similar way at other times, that's what I'll do. And it's only eighth notes too, so they're not. It's not like super fast. Where because like if this was in this, it's because it's 192 beats per minute. It's an eighth notes. Eighth notes. It's not that fast. If this was like 16th notes, now the technique would become much more vital. Pardon, you can't hear this. I gotta figure this out. This is probably gonna be boring, but we're seeing me do this on the screen. But I definitely need to get the sound on there. But if I could play it with my, if I could get a microphone, I could get probably one that picks up my guitar and this. But whatever. I'm like trying to figure out how to like have good streaming quality now. On the first video I made, because that's where my mind goes immediately. I gotta complicate it. Can't just do it. Just do it the easy way. I gotta overcomplicate it. Need all state of the art equipment before you even get started. You know, you gotta buy $2-3 grand of equipment before I'm even gonna be ready to do one thing. So, yeah. So I'm just trying to like tune myself to this because the thing about this, oops. Is that a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people don't see the value in doing this. Like, oh, I know what to play or whatever. But like, here's the thing: this is a technical solo, and like this is the kind of solo. This solo is like composed. Now, I'm not saying that Marty Friedman like plays it this way live all the time, like whatever. Like, I'm not saying that, but when people play this, they play it because it's like a solo that actually like it's not gibberish, right? There's like some solos that can't be replicated, and that's fine. It's fine. It's like that's the guy's doing is doing his thing, but like this solo was like I believe composed to be this way, and people have replicated it, pretty much exactly. So I forget where I'm going with that, but now I want to practice this. So here's what I would do. Because I'm trying to talk and do this at the same time. My mind's going all over the place. All right. So the thing that I would do is, all right, so I make these like weird exercises up for myself when I practice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this into rests here, and then I'm gonna highlight it like here. And now I was sort of playing before this, and I was like, hey, you know what? You should document the process of learning this. This would be cool. I'm sure this would be a thing. And so I can kind of like, I don't want to say like I kind of play this or whatever, but it's not the first time I looked at it, so I don't want to be like, yeah, this is the first try and like try to sound all tough or whatever, or like I'm like trying to impress people. So here, that's the metronome. That's right, that's the countdown. My cat's running around. This is the countdown. That's the metronome. And then, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put it on, sorry, I'm going to drop the speed down on this. So, because I can't remember, actually, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not that up, oh, there we go. I'm not that up with Guitar Pro. Like, I used to be like a master. I used to use it all the time, like hours on end a day, and I'm rusty. Oh, come on, all right, cool. So now, so this is 50%. It's 50% of 192, so it means it's at half speed. Now, I've never tried to play it. It's like there's a couple things I can do. I can listen to it. So I can go like this. Okay, so because I'm hearing this, so what I'm looking at right now is this part right here, because like I sort of was looking at the measures, but like this lick here really ends like there, and so I need to consider how I'm doing this. So I don't know if you can see, it's gonna matter. Sure. So you can see I haven't done this. You're like, what did you say? You can see that I don't know what the hell I'm doing with this. I'm gonna get my guitar spreading out a little bit there. So the thing with this part right here is that I'm pretty sure like a lot of the people I saw do this, they did their third finger there. Now I have no idea how Marty Friedman did it, and that can matter. When I'm usually learning someone else's solos, like if I want to learn someone else's solos note for note, I like try to like figure out like exactly how they did it, or at least take that into account. This part doesn't particularly matter. He might use his third. I want to use my pinky, just because I like personally like when I do something like this, and then doing the bend with my pinky, and then of course it puts that. I think it sounds like harmonic minor or whatever, but like that right there, that half step thing, and it's perfect to put the third finger down. Sorry, I was trying to hear if I heard my wife coming down, because if she hears me down here doing this, not that I'm going to get in trouble. Wow, that sounded weird, but it means I woke her up, and that would not be good. Okay, so all right, so here's what I'm going to do, and yeah, I'll just play, even though you're not going to be able to hear me. So I'll go like this. Oh, and if you wonder why I'm you wonder why I'm starting in the middle, that's what I was going to say. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out like the details. Like, does anybody even want to watch this? Why I'm starting in the middle is because like if I'm going to learn a whole solo, you got to learn the whole thing at some point, right? So it's like I can avoid stuff. It's like there's nothing that this doesn't exactly excite me. Although I didn't play the whole solo, I have to learn this. But I just kind of want to start with this part. It's one of the parts that stuck out to me. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then like once you get a part down, then like you just have to get one part, and you start feeling like you want to do another part. So, all right, I'm gonna wrap this one up because you can't hear me. But yeah, day one. Let's see where it goes. So it pays. Turns out it pays to be a long-time musician, but also goes to show that sometimes the resources that you need are right under your nose. Yes, this is motivational speaking hour as well. So here's what I'm talking about. I figured out how to get the, not figured out, I Googled it, because this is what you do. Something like this, how to get the interface to go into the program of music, which is Camtasia, with this really simple program. And remember, I have this microphone here. Let me see, I don't know if it can be seen. I don't know if I'll be able to see it on the camera. I can't really see it. So, yeah, so I had this. Yeah, this is probably too raw, but for YouTube, all right. But anyway, so now this actually believes me that it's pinky too here, just because like the way, I don't know, when I play this, usually the lowest finger on any string is like the lower fret number is always going to be the first finger, and the pinky if I'm spread out like this. Anything outside of 3 frets. I mean, I can do 3 or 4 frets, but it's just like to me, I like to keep everything very like linear when I play stuff. So that leads me to believe that this here is pinky as well, or that, because, and also seeing this, that's pinky, and that's one way that is like what the picking should be, or what what's it called, the fingering should be, because you just like read ahead, you use context clues. It's the same thing as if you're reading a book and you don't know. I forgot to make that stop. I'm not gonna do it right now. Let's see. Let me actually see something, because I might have messed this up. Okay, so sorry. Here's what I'm doing. This is funny because when I used to teach, I think people thought I was like trying to practice during their lesson. And it's like, no, I'm trying to figure out how I would play the part in real life, so what I show you actually works. And that's a lot of the reasons why like people just struggle to play, is because they don't even really know what they're trying to do. So anyway, so here's what I was doing. I was trying to figure out like for these parts, like what the picking is. What the picking is here. And there's a couple different things. Like there's 2 things. There's what will work, like physically work, because depending on the speed or whatever or the rate of the notes, certain physics, you have to stay within the laws of natural physics. And people are gonna all types of jokes about such and such guy can play that fast. It's like, listen, that's all within the realm of natural physics. It's the thing you want to keep in mind. Like people that are really really good, like they figured out how to do certain things a certain way. And yes, you have like those people out there that are like your Usain Bolts, right? That they're just faster than everybody else. But the thing is, like, you know, you don't. I don't want to. It's not about being the fastest. It's like that you don't need to be the fastest sometimes to play that stuff, unless like it's really the guy who like literally quote unquote is the quote unquote fastest, and like you don't have the physical capability to go that fast. But the one thing I can tell you is that you definitely have a lot more of an ability to go that fast than you know. So anyway, here's what I was doing. I was looking here, and then okay, so this is what I do. So when I pick eighth notes, sorry, I'm like so rusty on my teaching. When I pick, or when you do eighth notes, if eighth notes are the smallest subdivision, meaning that it's like a quarter note is not a subdivision, and anything smaller than a quarter note is a subdivision. If eighth note's like the primary subdivision, because you have 16th note triplets here, you're going to go down, up, down, up, down, up. And it's 1 on the first eighth note, up on the second eighth note usually, and then down, up, down, down, up. And so like, because this is the second eighth note, it should be up. And I like to use what I call, I guess I can't remember what it's called. I like to use what I call like standard picking conventions, meaning that like if I do something, every time I play that thing, I'm gonna do it the same. I'm gonna try to do it the same way. Or every like that rhythm. Every time I play that rhythm, I'm gonna do it the same way. So that like when I'm picking, my hand is used to like always on the downbeat of the eighth notes. I'm always going down. Always on the upbeat of the eighth notes. I'm always going up. And it just makes for like, especially when you're doing technical stuff, it just makes for a more consistent technique. And again, it all comes down to knowing exactly like how you're doing something and why. So I'm trying to do this and talk at the same time. Okay, cool. So we have picking there, and then this. I'm gonna guess. That would be an up. Probably like somebody doing it. Like, what are you doing? Up, and then up, up. Or possibly up, down. But let me actually hear this. What this sounds like. Now what I want to do is put this back to full speed. I mean, like here's the thing. I'm probably just gonna pick that or like sweep that, and then like what'll happen is if it feels more natural or it just makes more sense, I'll do it down there, but I'm gonna plan to do an up there just so I have something that I'm set on. Okay, so now that we have that, I'm gonna do, and these are all like preliminary fingers, meaning that like this is like I'm sort of looking at this. Okay, like if I use my first finger on that, I'm gonna use my fourth finger on that. It's my first finger on that. Like I'm sort of like guessing as I go ahead. But everything I do is going to be tested and proven, and then I'm going to know why I'm doing it that way. But I want to start off doing something specific. Here, so I'm not going to go into like why I'm doing this because like it's just each one of these videos would be just like really long. Although, the idea here I'm having with this is that anybody that wants to come on and ask, like, hey, why'd you do something like this? So, like, kind of performing double duty there. I can explain to you, create some content, whatever. So, okay. Okay, so that's everything. So now, what I'm going to do. Sorry, I'm trying to maneuver my knee the right way. Actually, I gotta see the camera. I can see the camera. I'll stop this because I can't. That's the only annoying thing about this is if I move this screen, I can't see where I'm at. Okay, so you might see my cat run in the background. All right, so now, kind of annoying though because I have to like look. The screen's angled down. This is about getting another camera, but I don't have a full-on TV studio in here. So keep it simple for now. Is starting to learn these parts. So. So one of the things about this is like in the beginning of this, I said, I'm really rusty. I haven't been playing for a while, like, and I'm learning this. Some of these things that I do that come up to me more easily are they're just like shapes that make sense to me because I know them. Like that major arpeggio shape and then him sliding. And like another one. So there's some things I can do like pretty quick, but I can't do it fast. Definitely can't do the whole solo. Like you'll see when I get to these other parts that like. Again, I have I don't want to call it the muscle memory, but I have the head knowledge of like the understanding of how to make my hands move a certain way. But right now they definitely can't do it. I mean, like right this second. Like if I practice it, they could, but if there's anything else, like, and so it's kind of like use it or lose it. It's not that simple, but that's the easiest way to explain it for me right now. So, okay, so now I'm going to try this whole section. Put it back down to 50, good. Got both my countdown and my metronome on. And there's no the strategy of the countdown is actually, I don't want a countdown. I just want this. I mean, basically the reason why is like if I know where to come in here, then it doesn't matter. I don't need 4 beats to like get ready. So I might want to when I loop it. Well, it is looped, but if I actually play it in a loop, I might want to add the countdown, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it does it the second time, because it's how out of the loop on Guitar Pro I am. Okay, so, yeah, but that's why I'm starting there. Or that's why I'm doing this. And there should be something there actually. Like I need to remember not to erase it. But I kind of when I'm learning parts, I sort of like find where the phrases are and whatever the thing is that I'm learning, and just isolate those parts and practice it. Whatever part is there, but not think about really what's coming before or after it. Just because I'm focusing on this one part. So the one thing I actually need to do is raise up the volume on this because I'm having trouble hearing over my guitar, which means you probably are too. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm not sure on the rhythm, is I want to listen. And what I'm actually going to also do here is, even though that's tied in like the actual song, I'm just going to start here so there's like a finite starting point. Actually try this and just kind of mess with it until I get, because I know like the technique of it. I'm pretty sure I can do that. Now I just want to play the rhythm until I get comfortable with it. So I'm gonna add the countdown here. Up, raise the volume up. I'm having trouble here. I kind of feel like I have the feel of that, but still. So then what I'll do sometimes, like if I want to loop something with a countdown, because it doesn't. I should go back really quick. Crap. This is what I always do. I always freaking do this. I'll just do a save as on this. There's a part up here. So you can see, like, this is so real and raw. This is like, there's a part up top that I erased, and then I'll just put the date on there. Whatever. I'll come with a better way to do it later. Sometimes if I'm doing this, then the solo's got like a lot of really fast sections in there. What I'll do is like make individual files, and it's just like a couple bars of each one. And there's lots of things that I'll do depending on what I'm learning. You guys, whatever. I was gonna start talking trash to myself for not practicing. I'm practicing now. So anyway, so that's that. And then we're actually going to do is we're going to open, actually we're not going to do that because that's still there. The original one now will have it so that that part's not erased. And the reason why I don't want to just undo it is because then all this stuff will go away and I just want to have to redo it. So I just save as, save the new version. I hadn't saved the old version yet. This means the old version with everything in it still exists, and I can, worst comes to worst, and go online and print it up. Okay, so what you can do is if you want to, that's not what I'm trying to do. What you can do is if you want to have a countdown every single time, because the countdown will only happen once. Like if you loop, it'll just go right back to the beginning. So if you want to have a countdown every single time, what you can do is you just create like a one measure rest in front of the measure where you want to start. And actually, even I could even, now that I'm here, it makes sense for me to play it the real way. So we'll do this, like that other part. And then what happens is when it loops back, you'll always have that space. And here, if you don't want to hear that because it's just gonna like distract you, then you get rid of the one that note. But then remember, when you do anything like if you want to add something to the song, add this part back and then write something in. Because if you write it in, then you're gonna lose it, and then the song's gonna have a bunch of holes in it. If you can see the screen, you can see how late it is here. I should not be doing this right now, but I had a good idea. I want to roll with it. So. Okay. There, so we're not going to do the whole section now. So one of the things I'm doing is like I realize I'm messing up. One of the things I don't think you should do is every time that you mess up, you stop. Like if you have played each part individually before, you know what it is, and like you know that you can play like this part, link it, that part, link it up. Then the only thing left to do is play the whole thing. And so it's not like if I'm trying to play the whole thing, if I mess up here, go back to the beginning because I already know that I can do that. The thing is to try to like it's more of a capacity thing. Like you're trying to challenge your mind, your brain, your fingers, your hand to play everything together. It's like memorizing like one sentence versus memorizing like a few sentences. Like you're gonna need to go over it and sort of you get to really know it. So yeah, but I know I'm making mistakes, and that's my my philosophy on it. You just try to like memorize a whole thing in a chunk because at the end of the day, like you're not going to be playing it in parts, and the goal is to play it as a whole. And if you know you can play each part separately, then you try it as a whole. So I'm not going to keep going with that. So now, like, one of the things I realized is like, if I haven't memorized, it's just look at my fingers. There's no, like, I guess like style points for just like not looking at your fingers. You need to look, okay? Like, you shouldn't need to always look, But it just depends. Like, who cares? If your goal is just to play it for you, then like you look at your fingers, like there's nothing wrong with that. For me right now, because of like some of these more, wide string jumps, here you like going like from like 10 to like 19. It's it's just easier for me to sight it out. It's me like for me to look to do the fret jump right. I'm looking at here. I just want to make sure I'm doing the fingers in a way that makes sense. No guitars out there. Okay, sweet. All right, let me check my tuning. I mean, like normally tuning is really important, but I'm just like I haven't even know the last time I picked up the guitar before right now was so. It's actually like pretty smooth. I feel like something weird is happening in here. So what I want to try to do is actually I actually want to go over that and just make sure that I'm doing what's written down. And if I'm not, I can write down or not write down, but document what I'm doing right now. Like if I'm doing some type of other picking here, and then when I go fast, like when I start speeding it up, if that technique doesn't work anymore, I can always change it back. But it's like it's a process. Sometimes like you'll play something. I've had this happen before. This is where I just experience really helps because like how certain things are going to go when they're going to be at speed, and then you don't end up practicing in a way slow that you can't even do fast. So. That's cool. All right, so look at that. I'm gonna try this a couple times, then I gotta go to bed. I don't know. It's like this. I don't really need it, so because I'm not really looking at it. Take the click off because I don't have that lead in. trouble for my wife waking up and being like, "Why are you up to 2 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, Thursday morning?" Wow, maybe I shouldn't be up right now. Let's try to speed up. We're not going to get into the theory behind speeding things up. I'm just going 5%. It's not 10. Right, so there's another thing, like a couple things going on. Number one, people are like, okay, well, if you can barely play at 50, why are you going to play at 55? And the whole myth of like if you ever play something at a speed faster than how you actually like can play currently, that it's going to ruin you somehow. That's not true. Okay, because then if that was the case, like any time you play anything wrong, like it would just cause you horrible problems. Like you have to make mistakes. The way to get better is by making mistakes. Now, like you don't make sloppy, careless mistakes where you just do things you're not thinking about like what's going wrong or anything like that. But playing faster than is comfortable is good because it's like again, that's how you sort of expand. I noticed I didn't put up to 100 and say I want to try it. I probably can't even follow it at 100. Like maybe even if I have the finger speed, which I believe that I do, like my brain's is not up to speed on that yet. But I'm going up to 55 and it is okay. And then you can either get it at 55 because sometimes eventually if this thing's meant to be played at 100, you play it at 100. Like it's like people are like, well, you need to be able to play it at every intermediate speed. It's like, yeah, I guess, but if you're never gonna have to play it that way, and you have all day sitting around and like just practice stuff, and like who cares? Just play it the way that it's meant to be played. So if I can play it perfectly at 100, but I can't do it at 50, then at the end of the day, like it doesn't really matter. But a lot of people act like it does because they think that you should have to do all this unnecessary stuff that just doesn't matter. So obviously, I have a huge chip on my shoulder about this. But also, I'm getting tired, and my brain's also like not used to practicing this long, and so like my fingers are just not cooperating right now. It sounds like I'm making excuses, but really like that's why when I'm going to know it's time to turn it down, like to just stop. And if I had more time right now, like to do this, I would just go to like a different part of the song, but I wouldn't keep working on this one.